All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Oh, shoot. Hold on one second. Before I start speaking, I had to make sure that I, clear my throat and everything. And because I don't, it's like my face is still stuffed up. I'm actually getting better every day. I know you guys can't probably hear it, but every day I feel better. Um, but I want to make sure that, as I speak, what happens is my throat starts to, get, all, my head. My head gets stuffed up and whatnot. So I just need to make sure that I was a little clear before we started. So um, let's go over to the bias chart, and let's go ahead and start with our morning analysis. I still have to update that. I always forget. Okay, so let's go over to the euro. So the euro ripped today, and the euro is pushing up towards trendline resistance. Now, I think the euro is going to be setting up for a decent short as we approach 109. I know a lot of you go, wow, 109? Yeah, 109. We broke and hit 108 yesterday. I actually took a short in the euro dollar yesterday at 108, and I got out. I took a small short, got out, and that was it. I think I even flatted it. All I remember is I didn't really stay in it all that long, because uh, my uh, attention was elsewhere. But now that we're rallying back, this is what's going to be really key here. Is this there's a couple of big, obviously downtrend lines, but we obviously have this big downtrend line that's going to come into play. The reason why I think this is going to be so important is because I doubt the market is going to try to push the euro dollar too much ahead of non-farm payroll tomorrow. So if you're looking at the dollar and you're thinking, oh man, the dollar is going to continue to get crushed here, be really careful with that, especially against the euro, because non-farm payrolls might come in. Well, they're coming in tomorrow, but I don't know how aggressive you're going to get people shorting the dollar, especially against the euro. The Canadian, and that's a completely different ballgame, because the Canadian, and that's all oil related. It has nothing to do with like non-farm payroll. Non-farm payroll is going to have more of an effect on the euro and the dollar. All right, so you might see some of these dollar longs pair back ahead of non-farm payroll. Okay, and so I think a move up to 109, maybe a move up to we've got probably some resistance here, 108.90. Let's take some fibs. Let's go from this high here to the low right there. There's a 618 because that would be trend high. This would be trend low. There's a 618 that comes in. Make sure that's correct. There it is. 108.85. So 108.85 probably will be really key resistance. I'm going to go 1.0885 to 0.09. Oops. That area. So when I say area, here, let's go over to the range bias. So that area is right through here. Let me grab a highlighter. Okay, right through here, this trend line, the 618, and that yellow trend line. See that? That whole area is going to offer really good resistance. So if you guys are waiting to short the euro dollar, well, we may be done. I mean, maybe that spike up into the 70s was it. That could have been it for today. But I would say if we get up here, that's going to be a good area to be on the short side, somewhere right through here, right through here. Screw it. I was gonna try to make that yellow belly. All right, here, like that, right through there. That should be a good area to be on the short side of the euro dollar. All right. Now, support on the way back down, you got to figure the support's going to be pretty strong, especially if we start falling back towards some of these breakout points. Let's see here. Let me see something really quick. Uh-huh. Okay, support should be really strong back down at 108 now. So right back down to this area, right through here, right? Okay. So any move back down to 108 should find pretty strong support. 1.0800. All right. All right. So that's a good look in the euro. If you want to know, you know, kind of where boundaries are, I think if you really want to be on the short side of the euro, you know, and you want to take a stab at it, try to get it up towards that 108.80 level, right through here. Okay. Right around here. I'm going to try to move this over just a bit, something like that. Okay, and then 108 is going to be probably a great place to look for longs if you're looking for longs. Like I said, I would be very skeptical about the market trying to extend dollar shorts going into non-farm payroll tomorrow. Okay, let's go over to the cable. Now the cable is a ripe, big ol' piece of crap right now. I saw Alan said he just got long the pound. I'm like, all right, well, you know, you know where we're at though, right? Okay, let's take a look at the weekly chart, and let's take a look at those lows back in the 2015. The pound is trading at levels we have not seen since 2010. Okay. Uh, um, you know, it's risky to get long the pound dollar when you're trading at 5-year lows, any which way you slice it. The pound is under some really heavy pressure. What would be great for the cable today is if we can close above 146, because that would be a false breakdown, right? But you know, the cable has been absolutely a big piece of dog dookie. All right, and I don't know if there's any there. Whoops, I don't know if there's really any other way for me to describe the pound other than it is a piece of garbage. But you know, sometimes when something is so beat down like this, you know, you gotta watch this as such key support that maybe we do post a false breakdown today. But let's think about the flip side to that. Okay, let's think about the flip side to that. Let's say the euro dollar pulls back to 108. So just I want you guys to think about this, and you can either answer in your head or answer me directly. If the euro dollar is trading at 108.50 and we drop down to 108, where do you think the pound's going? It's already weak. Yeah, it's probably going to go down. So, you know, if the euro dollar drops below 10, drops to 108, the cable could very easily be trading at 145. It's already weak. And how many people have been trying to buy the pound on the way down? I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing retail is extremely long the cable right now. So you guys, you know, be very careful here. The pound's already weak. If the dollar starts ripping your socks off, you know, the dollar starts rallying back. You look at the dollar yen that got beat down from 122 to 117 and change. If the dollar yen bounces back to 119 today, that dollar buying is going to rip through the cable. It'll push the cable below 145 today, my opinion. Unless equities bounce 700 points today, you know, the cable's probably going to get the beat down. All right, so you have to be really, really, really careful of buying the cable down here. I personally would wait until tomorrow, because and maybe, after non-farm payroll, I'd want to see it close above 146 today. And if it closed above 146 and then we got a weak jobs report tomorrow, I'd be all over the cable. But there's a lot of ifs involved there. All right. Anyway, let's continue on with our analysis. So, I mean, look at this thing, and I bet you we can find RSI levels that are that. Oh yeah, I can find RSI levels lower than where we're currently at. Right there. Look at those gaps. Boom, boom, boom. Get a strong NFP tomorrow, we could be trading down here at 143 easily. Um, so, and looking at the pound, it's like I don't even know where support is. Like I can't even fathom to. I can't even. I mean, I can't even look at it and go, well, here's some definitive support. I don't even see it. Like the support I see is down here, and that's at 142. Yeah, it's up to you if you want to stick around and wait for that. Again, I look at it and the only thing the pound would have going for it is if it gets a false breakdown today. That's it. And again, I don't even know where support is. I have to write down support as 145 just because it's a round number and it's a nickel, number. 145, 140, 135. So 145. It's going to be support by default just because it's a big round number, but it's not like I can't look at the charts and say, oh yeah, there it is. I mean, I don't think I can put any fib levels on here. Maybe I can find a 261% extension of something. Hold on. Maybe. That comes in at 140. I mean, I'm really stretching here if I'm just grabbing shit, excuse me, stuff like this, and trying to tag a 261% extension. There really isn't, there just isn't any support. The cable's like it's like air underneath. Like I said, the only thing, and the cable's good at posting false breakouts. So just everybody should know that the pound is very efficient at putting in a false break higher, a false break lower. So maybe the cable does a false break down and it comes back above 46, but you're basically trading on hope at this point. And hope is not a good strategy. I've tried it before, except when it's a new hope and it's Star Wars. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, anyway. Sorry. I just geeked out on you guys. All right, so let's take a look at the. All right, so where is? Well, now I mean we know 146 is resistance. I mean, if and or buts, right? Like in order for the pound to even consider turning around, we have to break above 146. To even give it any life, all right? It is bearish. Let's go over to the Swiss A. So just to let you guys know, I did add to my dollar Swiss yesterday. I did. Not at the best price I could possibly enter, because I told you guys I was going to buy a little bit when we got to 1.0030, which I did. But you can see we actually probed below parity today with Swissy. Boy, I'll tell you, that earlier this week, I have to pat myself on the back. Unfortunately, I didn't get out of my Swissy, but the call of the 1.0120, that was pretty good. You have to admit, that was, that 618 held like a champ. Other than parity being support here for being parity, I don't know if there's much support there. Oh yeah, there's a 618 right at parity. Huh. So that means the overnight lows are going to be really important. Let me get rid of this really quick. The overnight lows comes in at 99.90. Support point 99.90. Okay. Resistance. Probably any move back up to 101.50. So we get, move back up here, it should find some resistance, I would think, somewhere around here. It's not great resistance, 1.0050. And we are still in a range environment. Okay, hey, I got to go back to I got to go back to the euro pound. So one of the things that's going to keep me extremely bearish the pound from here on out is the fact that the euro pound, this breakout, that's massive. So now any dip down to 74 and a quarter, I'm getting long, just so you all know. This is a massive weekly, I mean, look, this is a multi-year, 2013 to 2016. Okay, that's a 2.5-year trend line being broken today. That in itself is going to keep the cable really, really feeling like some headwinds, and we get above 75 cents or pence, excuse me, that thing is gone. So I'm going to do this euro pound analysis for you, just because if we break here, 74.80, the move to here is like, this is, to me, an easy move. Right there. Boom, boom. Okay. That in itself, because of the order flow that goes through the euro pound, it will keep a lid on the cable from going anywhere. Okay. All right. We did the Swiss. Let's go over to the yen. All right. So here's the yen. Yen broke through the 118 level. Now 118 on any rally should cap prices. Okay. So 118, and there's just not a whole lot of, I mean, look, there's not a lot of support here until 116, 115.50 to 116-ish. I guess we can do this. Optics. I really like this shape thing. Paul Steve Bealby told me about this, and I really like it. Okay, so anyway, that's where really key support comes in. So let's remove that. So now 118 on any rally. Let's go dollar yen resistance 118. Obviously, you guys saw that the Nikkei broke down, right? This is the reason why I sold the yen pairs. I blogged about it yesterday, but I knew the Nikkei was breaking lower. So with the Nikkei breaking lower, it's like, okay, I knew that was happening, so that's why I bought those yen pairs yesterday. I bought the yen yesterday, excuse me. All right. Let me go back to, where was I at? I was just looking at the dollar yen. All right, let's go back to the dollar yen. So now where's support? This is kind of like the cable. I don't know where support is. I just don't know where it is. Oops, that's the New Zealand yen. Okay. I mean, where is support? Again, I'm at a loss here. I look at when you get into like free fall mode with some of these currencies are in, it's like you don't know where you don't know where it's going to stop. I mean, it's just bottom line. Hold on, really fast. check something really quick. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, this might give us some light. Okay, here, let me make this dotted. Okay, let's make this yellow, just to differentiate it, right? Okay, now I'm looking at the multiple tops here, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then here's the neckline, dot, 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 and see how it's spilled right there. If you're right now, if you're trying to buy these yen pairs for a bounce and you're looking at this chart, you're probably, I just made you crap your pants, but that's okay. 16.6, because I'm just trying to figure out where support is. That's all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to figure out where some valid support for this move is. Be right there. I would say 1650. So yeah, that'd be right there. Quadruple top, I guess you can say quadruple top. There's your neckline. You can see why it is your neckline, because you go back to here and you go, okay, quadruple top, low, low, skating across the low, right? Skating across the low, and then all of a sudden, boop, and then once you did it, that triggered the extension move. So that takes us down to 1650. Well, okay, that's where we're going. Apple's down 3%, 97.70 pre-market. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. People didn't believe me when I said Apple's going to $80. I really think Apple's going to $80, but I think it's going to be a wonderful purchase down there, frankly. I really do. Okay. Let's go back to, oh shoot, I just realized what time it is. We're moving kind of slow today, but you know what? That's okay. We got to do this very carefully because there's so much going on. When we come back, we're going to do the Canadian, Kiwi, Aussie, dollar index. We'll get everything else done in the next half an hour before weekly unemployment claims. Don't go anywhere, folks. I'm going to go grab some more coffee. Thanks for everybody being here. Happy Thursday. Roll, Kiwi, roll. It's about time. I think the Kiwi is just playing a little catch-up, traders. If you guys have missed what the Kiwi's been doing the last few minutes, taking a shoot dive, which I'm pretty happy about. Finally decided I wanted to break lower, which is good. It's helping Aussie New Zealand claw its way back. The pound New Zealand's back above 221. Look at the pound New Zealand right now. Love it. Look at that thing ripping right back up. Nice. Very happy about that. So, because I'm long the pound New Zealand, short the New Zealand Canadian, long the Aussie New Zealand, so that's bouncing back very nicely. I'm long the Euro New Zealand. I'm up 281 pips in the Euro New Zealand. That might actually be breaking out now. Oh yeah. Look at that. Huge breakout in the Euro New Zealand right now. So, all the Kiwi actually is looking pretty bearish. So let's go over to the Kiwi dollar and let's talk about it. So the Kiwi is trying to break below this this trend line support here. That's okay. What is all this? You know what? I'm going to redraw everything here. I know I didn't do the Canadian yet, but I'll go back and do that here in just a second. So the Kiwi, this is pretty key support right where we're at. And it might, you can look at it like that, or, we might be on, just really critical support here. Okay. Um, Spike low, this 65.85 is pretty critical. I'm going to write that down. But came out of this ascending wedge. Okay. Came out of that ascending wedge. The thing about the New Zealand dollar as well, let's go to the daily chart here. See, it gave us a false breakout. You guys have heard me say this 1,000 times, so I'll say it 1,001 times. Okay. Whenever you get a false breakout, it tends to lead to a breakout the other direction. So in this case, we got a false breakout to the upside, probably going to break to the downside. So the Kiwi 65.85 is really key support today. So whatever the spike low is, 65.78, so 65.80. Kiwi 65.80 support. Resistance. Resistance right now is here. Whatever that spike high is. 66.65. 66.65. Okay. And we are in a big range. All right, let's go back over to the Canadian. Sorry, I skipped over the Canadian earlier. So here's the Canadian. All right, so as you guys know, we are at targets. We are at the weekly targets here. All right. Target finally met. Let's remove that fib. I'll put it out there in a second, but here we are. Okay. I am buying some Canadian currency today. I've already started to nibble on some Canadian. I'm short a little bit of dollar Canadian. I know I said yesterday I wasn't going to short any dollar Canadian, but I did, and I don't know if I'll stay short the dollar Canadian. Let's just put it that way. But I am buying the Canadian against other currencies too. I'm shorting the Euro Canadian, Pound Canadian, Aussie Canadian, New Zealand Canadian. I'm just nibbling on all of those. The dollar Canadian, though, where can we go here? Because we already surpassed the 161% extension. There has been no dips. We are seeing some divergence. You'll see it here. Okay. We're hitting new highs in price. Relative strength is not on the hourlies, but we have already surpassed the 161% extension. So the next level of resistance really is 142. I mean, that's it. I mean, 142, it's a big round number. It's doable, I think, especially if crude oil continues to stay weak. Okay, I think that's going to be pretty key resistance. It is still in a very bullish trend. Okay, so if you're trading the dollar Canadian on the short side, or you're shorting, buying Canadian currency, you are most definitely 100% trading counter trend. Okay, it is counter trend. If you look at that and you look at this, what direction is this sucker going? It is going higher. So if you're fading it, okay, it has been going higher. If you're fading it, you're going counter a very strong trend. There's no doubt about it. So therefore, if you short dollar Canadian, or you decide to play Canadian to the upside, buying Canadian currency, you are trading counter trend. Trade small. Do not overextend yourself. Don't expose yourself too much, because if you're wrong, like if I'm wrong and the dollar Canadian goes to 143, I'll get stopped out, but it's not going to hurt that bad, because my positions aren't that big. All right. But my 2 cents are, as long as it stays below 142, I think it's bearish. Now, or not, it's bearish. I think it has a chance of reversing. So where is support? Support, I'm assuming, is going to be back at 141, and it's going to be pretty strong support right through here. right through here. Okay. 141, actually it's 141.05, but I'll just write down 141. So to take the downside or upside pressure off the dollar Canadian, 141 has to be taken out. Period. End of story. Wow. The euro is the euro hitting new highs? We're close, not too far away. All right, let's go over the Aussie. So there's been a lot of people trying to call the bottom in the Aussie dollar. I thought the Aussie's trying. The reason why I'm trading the Aussie New Zealand to the long side, frankly, is I thought the Aussie New Zealand's trying to or the Aussie dollar is trying to forge out some sort of low. It has gotten absolutely decimated. Decimated. Okay. Hold on really quick. It's a really good quote from one of the Team Macro Man guys. I just retweeted it. Anyway, the Aussie dollar has gotten absolutely crushed, and so I want to say resistance is back at 70 cents, but that's only very intraday. Resistance for the Aussie now is just at 70. What is this? 70.85. But this to me looks like a butterfly pattern. Okay, which suggests here. Let me. Actually, I'm going to do this via TradingView. So just because it's easier for me to do it via TradingView for the harmonic patterns. So let's go over to an hourly, and let's go. I'm going to remove all drawing tools. Let's go over to a 4-hour, and let me tighten that up a bit. Let's do this. Okay. This to me, boom, boom. If you guys want to know where I think the Aussie's going eventually, probably right there. And that would be a shocker for a lot of people. That's a butterfly pattern, okay? 786 retracement here, 786 retracement here, 161% extension, 261% extension here. Be looking like here, let's zoom in a little bit. If you want to take a picture of that, that's where I think we're going. And, that would break a lows of the 69-cent level and take us down to like 68 cents. Frankly, that's where I think we're going. That doesn't mean we're going there today. I'm just telling you that overall is where I think the Aussie dollar is going. Okay. All right. So what does that mean for today? Well, today support. We're going to see some support down here at 69.50. It's going to be minor support, but you can see a lot of spike lows through here. 69.40. 69.40. Resistance, I have no idea. Yes, Canadian, strengthen Canadian. I like it when you strengthen Canadian. Okay, so resistance for the Aussie dollar at this point in time would be this very extremely steep down sloping trend line. So remains any move up to 70.60. Probably not a bad place to be on the short side of the Aussie. Okay. All right. And we're in a range, but we're threatening to turn bearish here. Okay. Let's go over to the dollar index. Boop, boop, boop. Don, don, don. Okay. So there's the dollar index. Obviously, that will be resistance on the way back up. You can see the overshoots, but support, broke through support, came back, retested previous support, current resistance, a little overshoot there, but that all comes in around 99. Let's just call it around 99.20 ish. Okay. 99.20. We are in a range. Support. Support doesn't come in for a while. 98.25. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the peso really fast. Peso at 18 yet? Almost. It's getting there. Can somebody name that hedge fund manager that turned the U.S. dollar? Polis is speaking. Thank you very much. Adjustments in the economy expected for some time. Sees divergence in currencies and interest rates. All is natural. Natural, huh? Number of tools for PBOC, conventional and unconventional. Ooh, that means he can do a lot. Anybody know who's the hedge fund manager that turned the U.S. dollar Mexican peso chart upside down and said it was a good buy, which means that, good buy pesos? Does anybody know who I'm talking about? If you don't, there's one out there, and it has gone straight the other direction. Nobody knows. All right. 18 would be the target for the peso. You guys don't know. Al says the analyst name is Blakey Morrow. No. Somebody said that the dollar peso was going right here. Was going to reverse. Right there. Some of you have guessed it. I won't say. So just and if you guys guess Kramer, it's not Kramer. Although I'd like to blame everything on Kramer. But a couple of you guys guessed. It's not Mark Chandler. Mark Chandler is not a hedge fund manager. He's a economist for Brown Brothers, and he's awesome. Anyway, 18. Gosh, many of you don't know. He went really under the radar after making such a big deal about it. That's good. That's good for him. Let's see. I don't know where this thing's going to stop. I mean, we're at beyond the 120. I mean, 18, I guess. Support's at 1750. I mean, it's exploding. So, did he really make a big deal about it, or was it just a tweet? Says Joseph. It was more than it was. It was such a big deal. He actually turned his chart upside down. That's a pretty big deal. Like you can't, he's like, you can't tell me that you would actually short this. And it was, obviously it was the U.S. dollar Mexican peso going up, but it was inverted. He said, you can't tell me you would short this, and you don't, this mystery currency. And then he said mystery, and then after that, it was not a mystery currency. He said it's the peso, and I'm just like, I didn't even respond. I had nothing to say. I was like, really? But anyway, it's neither here nor there. 1750, 18. It's actually 1747. Really key support. And if we get to 18, I'm shorting the peso, just so you know. It's extremely bullish. Let's see here. What's next? Where am I at next? Let's go over to the Norwegian krona. Now, hey, watch this in case the Canadian reverses here. I know this has been in a slow grind, but I don't know if 9 is going to be the number. Obviously, who knows, but there's no fib level that would really, tell us that that's going to be it. But just watch these daily candles. I think these are pretty important. I don't. Again, crude's going to have to give us a severe bounce to show us a reversal here. But let's go over to the Swedish krona. Swedish krona is showing a nice reversal today from 860 again. Again. Look at that. Again. So yeah, nice reversal here, but I don't know where support is. So I mean, support's all the way down here, and so it's not, unless you want to short the U.S. dollar Swedish krona and put your stops right above here. But also keep in mind that Riksbank said that they can intervene. So it's up to you if you want to short that. Yeah, that seems a little little risky. Okay. Wow, Dow futures down 390 points. Got a couple minutes before we're going to take a break, but let's stop for a moment. Let's just talk about a couple of things. All right, so the futures aren't really bouncing here. Scary they aren't. Crude oil is trying to stabilize. I mean, we were down 4%, we were down 3%, we're down 3.5% right now. We're trying to stabilize it. It's going to be interesting if crude can bounce because obviously I'm buying some Canadian here. The dollar Canadian is, it's moving lower. You take a look at some of these Canadian currencies really quick. I'll just show them to you here. I would not, and I'm gonna repeat. I mean, actually, the Canadian yen probably is due for a bounce, but I'm not buying any yen pairs. The yen pairs I'm looking to sell. So any bounce that we see in equities, any bounce that we see in the yen pairs, any meaty bounce, when I say meaty, I'm talking about several hundred pips. I'm selling into that strength. Just so you guys know, like dollar yen back to 119, 120, at New Zealand yen, Aussie yen, anything like that, any bounce I'm going to be selling into. Big bounce, though. I have to say a big bounce. But But you look at the Canadian yen, and it might be, it might be due for a bounce, but I don't. That's not where I'd play the Canadian. Let's take a look at the. Well, let's start with the Aussie Canadian. Okay, I did short a little Aussie Canadian today. Okay, it is dropping pretty aggressively, obviously. Um, you know, big rejection at the 618. I just shorted it because the Aussie is so bearish. Euro Canadian. Euro Canadian is trying to break higher, but by the end of the day, if the Euro Canadian can close back below here, I'll be happy. There's a big double top. You can see it right through here, big double top setting up, and actually could be a slight down sloping trend line too. Through here. Anyway, I think it's more of the highs. Let's remove that. Pound Canadian. Pound Canadian, you know, it's still big double top here. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to go on break. I said shoot. New Zealand Canadian starting to roll over, which is nice. When I come back, we've got unemployment claims coming up, so don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a few short minutes. Thanks, everybody.